Welcome once again, everybody. I hit the mute button. I muted us. Welcome to Good Health by
It's
Claudia.
hard to mute us, isn't it?
Well, for one of us, yes. Good Health by Claudia podcast with me, Denny Schaefer, a production of Denny Radio. Wearing my shirt today. We are at episode 69.
Very cool.
If my math is right, and I think it is. And first off, before we get going too far and introduce our guest, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Things are good at the store?
Thank God. Things are wonderful. At the
People
store.
coming in, being curious, asking
Lots
questions.
of people, they're tired of the meds. They want to learn how to do it safely, naturally, and really, truly feel good. And it's a beautiful thing.
I was talking to a friend of mine over the 4th of July weekend, and he's on a couple different meds. And he asked me, he said, would you ever get on, blood pressure medicine and whatever? And I said, no. Well, what do you do then? I said, I go see Claudia at Claudia's Health Food, and we figure what's going on, and then we do what we're supposed to do. So anyway, I'm very excited to hear that you guys are busy as ever because it's summertime, and a lot of people
count our blessings, man. We're very grateful.
That's awesome.
But I think a lot of even people within the medical community are getting tired of writing all these scripts. We have so many people from the medical community coming in. They truly want to learn how to do things differently. So it's very exciting. It's a beautiful thing. It's taken a while, but here we are.
And that's why this podcast is so important. And you play a role, those of you that are watching, share the podcast. Get the information out to as many people as possible. Ask your questions. Put them in the comments, and we will respond to them. We meaning Claudia. Unless it's something.
I'm working on it.
Unless it's something about me personally, and then, whatever. All right. We have a guest today.
Yes, we have a wonderful guest today.
We do. And I love the intro. Here it is. In the lush landscapes of New Zealand, amidst the native flora, thrives a unique creation of nature and labor of love known as bees and trees, Manuka honey.
Yes. Woohoo.
And the guy behind it all is this guy right here. Say hello to Mike Everly, everybody. Hello, Mike. Welcome.
There he is. Hi, Mike.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us this morning.
All right, we're very excited to have you on. Manuka honey. First off, well, wait a minute. Let me just back up. What is your story? You didn't start out in this genre, so to speak. You're a guy from New York. You went to Georgia Tech, and I see you're now back in Atlanta, which is cool. But you've done a lot of different things. You worked for Ernst & Young and commercial real estate, and now Manuka honey. How do you go from living in that kind of corporate world to being in health and wellness?
Right.
Yeah. No, it's a great question. Thanks for having me. I'm really, really excited to be with you today and get a chance to talk about a little bit about my story and about Manuka honey and how wonderful it is. But the background on that is it must have been destiny that I was going to get into the Manuka honey industry. In 1998, my wife and I, while I was with Ernst & Young, had a brief 3-4 month assignment in New Zealand. And we absolutely loved our time there and the experience. And it really made an impact on us and left us with a desire to try to get back to New Zealand for a few years with our kids when they were older. We had a 2-year-old at the time, and my wife was pregnant with our second. And really experienced something different than life in Atlanta, Georgia. And it took us about 10 years. I changed careers, got into commercial real estate, and career-wise, everything was great. I was with a wonderful company, a wonderful team of people, but we had this gnawing at us that we need to do that New Zealand thing, or we'll always regret not having tried it. So I left a successful career with no particular plans of what we would do when we got there. It took a couple of years of legwork to get the visa stuff in place and all of that. But we just took a shot and went to New Zealand and said, well, let's figure something out when we get there. And after about a year of exploring different things that I could work at, involve myself with, I became aware of Manuka honey. And it was a weird set of circumstances. And as I researched it, it just felt like a really, really good fit. I thought if we got involved in this industry, we're going to be moving back, we thought, in about 3 years, 3.5 years to the States. And it was something I could bring back with me and kind of carry on. So we invested in a few beehives, a few being a couple of hundred initially, and kind of had a contract in place with an existing beekeeper to manage those for us on a cost share, crop share basis. So a bit like a passive investment initially, and then things really grew from there, and we brought it in house, and yeah, that was 2012 that we formed the company. So 13 years ago now.
I love that you followed your heart. This is an industry of heart and soul. And that's why we were so excited to have you on. You know, the people that we bring on, they've got heart, man, and that's what it's about. So it's a beautiful story, and thank you for sharing that with us. So.
Well, it sounds like it's divine intervention. It sounds like this is what you were meant to do all along, and now that you're doing it and you're helping people, how gratifying is it that your products are helping so many people? And what will your products help people with?
Yeah. So it's incredibly, first of all, it's incredibly gratifying. You get caught up in the day-to-day challenges of running a small business and the logistics. UPS didn't pick up yesterday. That was a big deal because we didn't ship on Friday, and we had hundreds of packages ready to go out. So you get caught up in that stuff, and then you'll get the email or the customer review where somebody explains what an incredible impact our honey has had on a health condition that they were struggling with for years, and how they're cutting back on their meds, and it's been life changing. And when you get those messages, or those emails, it makes it all absolutely worth it. Yes. And it makes me really anxious to get an opportunity like today to tell more people about Manuka honey. Because I still, in a social setting, if I run into people, they'll ask me what I do, and I start to explain. I'll say, well, have you ever heard of Manuka honey? It's about 1 in 10 that say, oh, yes, I know Manuka honey, or I've heard of it, or, whatever. So we have a tremendous opportunity here in the United States in particular to kind of get the word out. But your question is, what can Manuka honey help someone with? So the properties that make Manuka honey special are its antibacterial property, its anti-inflammatory properties, and its antiviral properties, which are kind of less well known and studied, but it definitely exists. So I'd take the use cases kind of into probably two primary, and then there's a bunch of supporting ones. So all of us suffer with seasonal, cold, flu, bacterial, viral infections. And we can all use help with symptom relief. And more than symptom relief, Manuka honey will help attack the underlying cause of that infection. So you can take it preventively to try to ward off catching a cold, catching the flu during that season. Or if you can get it really, really early when you first feel symptoms coming on, my personal experience has been I can knock it right out of my system. And that cold that I thought I was going to get, my throat's just a little scratchy. I realized I sneezed a little bit earlier in the day and I didn't know why. And I'm thinking, oh, I might be coming down with something. If I get a couple of teaspoons, of Manuka honey in me quickly, and again, a couple of times a day after that, I can usually knock it right out of my system. And in other cases, I might get a cold, but the symptoms will be milder and it will move through me much quicker. Mm-hmm. And years ago, before discovering Manuka honey, I would get a cold and it would be a 10-day ordeal. I'd need 10 minutes in a hot shower to get my head clear enough to be able to function. It was that kind of an experience for me. I haven't been sick like that in years and years and years. So cold, flu, viral, bacterial infection, absolutely kind of bucket number one we can all benefit from. Bucket number two is digestive health. And this is probably our biggest, use case when we ask people why they buy our product in our post-purchase surveys. it's digestive health. And there's where we've gotten the most impactful stories of acid reflux relief, miraculous, like this. I thought it would take weeks and I felt better on the second day, kind of thing. I'm sleeping through the night. I never could get through the night, those kinds of things. So acid reflux, gastric ulcers, IBS, anything in the GI tract. It's the antibacterial properties, killing those bad bacteria, and it's the anti-inflammatory properties, soothing everything and reducing that inflammation that seems to be the 1-2 punch that folks are having so much success with. And then the third, probably primary one, I would say, is wound care. So any common cuts, scrapes, burns, burn care, but also anything kind of chronic that won't heal. People have had great success healing chronic wounds with Manuka honey. And that's one area where mainstream medicine embraces the use of Manuka honey in wound care. So hospitals, emergency rooms, burn units will be using Manuka honey in their care prescription. So I'd say those are probably, three of the top areas that people are focused on and interested in.
All right. I know this is a simple question, but I have to ask it, and then I'll let you guys, talk about all the products. What makes Manuka honey different than just regular bee honey?
Yeah, it's a great question. So people ask me, is it the bees? Is it a different bee? It's the plant. So all honey is a product of the nectar source that produces it. Tupelo honey, the Tupelo tree. Manuka honey is the native New Zealand flowering Manuka tree, which is a species that grows native to New Zealand and only in New Zealand for all intents and purposes. There's some related species in Australia, but beware of something called Australian Manuka honey is all I'll say, unless you want me to go deeper on that one at some point. So it's this beautiful tree. It's bush-like when it's young, almost like an azalea bush. And when it gets older, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it's almost like something out of Dr. Seuss, where it's got this long trunk, maybe about that wide, and then this spreading canopy. So it's a beautiful tree, and it occupies a very unique niche in the native New Zealand ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
There you go. That's awesome.
Good.
I'm actually looking it up so I can show people what
the tree looks like. That would have been a nice thing for us to show.
Yeah. Well, this is my first time ever doing this. No, I'm kidding. All right, there it is, people.
Oh, beautiful.
How beautiful that is.
Yeah. Very beautiful.
Yep. That's the flower. Yeah, those are the flowers.
Beautiful.
Those have a real pink tinge to them. There's a couple of varieties in our region. They're mostly white, but Northland, you get a lot more of the pink Manuka flower.
Beautiful. All right, Claudia, you have products.
So I just want to say we have a lot of docs that refer to us and come in the store. We're very grateful over the years. We have many now that are more docs are sending people in for Manuka honey. And it's usually for wounds. And so I'm thrilled that they're doing that, but I think it's been used in the hospitals for a while. But at any rate, now when they send people in, now they'll be sure to have a really good quality Manuka honey.
Right. That's important.
Let's start with, so there's 3 different products, correct? 3 different.
Yes.
So this is one of them. We're going to start with so I want, if you would please talk about I don't know, for lack of a better term, the activity of within the product. So this is the 350.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the exact 350? It's not milligram. What is it?
Yeah, so it's methyl glyoxal. MGO is the abbreviation, and it's milligrams per kilogram. So it is a concentration, either parts per million or milligrams per kilogram. Okay. So that is the key number, and I'm so glad you asked this question, because if your listeners take one thing away today, if they get interested in Manuka honey and they take one thing away, it's make sure you get an MGO level of at least 250 if you want any kind of wellness benefit. We sell a 350, a 550, and an 830.
So I brought them
And
all. This is the 550. And it says
yeah,
right on the
Same thing,
label,
just says
same thing.
550
And then we've got the
right there.
850 or the 830, correct?
830. Yep,
830.
yep.
So
So,
one
so,
of the things when people come in,
mhm,
you know, I don't always jump them into the high activity, depending on
right.
what they're dealing with.
Yep.
But so tell us how that goes. So for digestive health, where would you start? Which product?
I always recommend the 550 for digestive health. That's kind of my starting point on digestive health. However, I would not be surprised if someone got great results with the 350. If they were very budget sensitive and it was like, this is a stretch for me to get that jar of 550, or I'm taking the 550 and I'm doing 2 teaspoons a day and it's great, but budget wise, I'm struggling. I'd say try the 350 and see if the 2 teaspoons still work, or can get you there, or if they're, so you can move around a little bit with dosage and with the price point. So I normally say the 350 is great as a daily consumption for immunity support and overall, wellness support. But if you're trying to respond to something like when that cold is starting to hit, I hit the 550. And yeah, so that would be my starting point on digestive.
So for wound care, we usually do the 830, the higher activity. Is that
Mhm.
what you would do?
Yeah, and that's kind of my go-to as well on wound care, especially if it's anything more serious that you're concerned about. If it's
Mhm.
a cut or a scrape or something, or you're trying to maybe reduce some scarring or something like that. Skincare is another big application for Manuka honey, both on the beauty side as well as it kind of ties in with wound care because you're healing imperfections in the skin or dealing with things in the skin. But yeah, somewhere between the 550 and the 830 on wound care. Yep.
Mhm. We had a doc that referred someone in, they had diabetic neuropathy and they had a wound that
Hmm.
did not heal. And
Yeah,
we did the 830 for them and they got good results.
that's great.
So it's a
Yeah.
wonderful product. So let me ask you, we have people that ask about the glycemic index of, honey. So in regard to a product like this, if someone has blood sugar instability, which unfortunately a lot of people anymore have blood sugar issues,
Hmm.
but um, do, what is the glycemic value of this, or what is that impact for the blood sugar?
Yeah, I wish I had the numbers off the top of my head. I was just reviewing a draft of a blog article that was quoting the glycemic indexes. So I'm going to have to cover this kind of more conceptually and at a higher level.
Okay.
So certainly, honey is mostly sugar. That's what honey is. It's a 100% natural product, but it's mostly sugar. Having
Yes.
said that, honey is a better form of sweetener than refined sugar because it is a more complex sugar, and the ratio of fructose and glucose is such that your body metabolizes it more slowly. And as a result of that, you don't tend to get the blood sugar spikes that
Right.
you get with other consuming, other sugars. So, if you are diabetic and you have blood sugar issues and considerations, you certainly should be paying attention to that and not think, oh, I'm eating Manuka honey. I don't have to worry about that now because it's
Right.
good for me, because it is a form of sugar. But I would suggest that while you have to be more careful than somebody who doesn't have blood sugar concerns, you also may find that the benefits, if you're monitoring your blood sugar at the same time, outweigh any additional sugar consumption. Or is there something else in your diet you can be cutting back on,
Right.
a simple carb or something that has non-beneficial sugar, carbohydrate content that you can be substituting Manuka honey to get that benefit.
Mhm. And as far as putting this product in something, hot water, hot coffee, it doesn't alter the antioxidant activity in it, does it?
It does not. What we always say is don't put it in boiling water. I consume most of my Manuka honey in tea. I'm a tea drinker, a couple of cups a day, and I'll brew the tea. I'll take the tea bag out or the strainer out. I'll leave it for another minute maybe, and then I'll add my Manuka honey. So if it's too hot to drink it, like it would burn your mouth, then
Mhm.
it's kind of too. Then I don't like putting the Manuka honey in it.
Yeah.
The science I've read on it, you really have to get it up to a pretty high temperature and keep it there for an elevated period of time before you start to degrade the properties of it. So you're probably safe, but I just always suggest that as opposed to putting it right into boiling water.
Yes. Okay, good, good. And we have people that want to cook with it. And
Hmm.
I mean, I'm thinking the heat destroys the properties, but I may be wrong on that. So what do you think about, well, we have people that want to put it in, they're baking cookies or bread, or they don't want to use the sugar. They want to use the,
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think it's probably fine. We certainly use it like in banana bread recipes and in various recipes, and we've got a number of recipes published that include Manuka honey where it's being baked in. I think it's a great natural sweetener. And it's delicious taste. It really is amazing in its taste. I think it will enhance those foods and it will be a better, more healthier product than putting refined sugar in. Will it give you the same immunity boost that eating it off the spoon? Probably not. But if
probably.
if you're okay with that and you're not like I'm going to do this instead of eating it off the spoon, then I think it's great to cook with.
And as far as being proactive with health, 2 teaspoons a day, you think is a good place to be?
I think 2 teaspoons a day. There's no science that I can point to that would help, kind of recommended dosage.
Mhm.
This is kind of my personal experience over years. My business partner, Sean, and his family, kind of their personal experiences. So we're kind of like that. Yeah, 1 to 2. I tell people 1 to 2 teaspoons a day. Digestive health. We have people write back that they're doing a little bit more than that. And I think it's a little bit of a try it and see how you're doing. But I don't hesitate to go a little heavier if I'm coming down with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a difference in taste between the 350, the 550, and the 830?
I really can't pick up a difference in the taste. Interestingly, because that number really relates to the purity and the potency of the Manuka honey. So the 830 is like almost pure Manuka, and the 350 is going to have some other things the bees collected that has gone into it. So I could, if you blindfolded me, I might be able to tell on a good day a 350 from an 830, but generally I don't taste a big difference. But before we move completely off the numbers, I just kind of a quick word of warning. If you go to like a Whole Foods or a big grocery chain and you find Manuka honey in the aisle, you might find MGO levels. You will find MGO levels as low as 30, 50,
Mhm.
and 80.
Mhm.
But the word it'll say multifloral Manuka honey or Manuka honey blend. It is 90% native New Zealand, other trees, other honey, and 10% Manuka honey. And they are playing a game where they're just meeting the legal threshold so the word Manuka can be on the jar.
Yeah.
And then they're charging you a price that's crazy with respect to what you're actually getting in the jar. And I hate that that goes on in our industry, but it does. And so that's the kind of consumer beware. And that's where going to an independent health food store, you have someone in the store who knows this, can talk to you, you can ask questions. And it's one of the reasons we don't distribute in any large chain retailers at all.
And we very
So
much
yeah,
appreciate that, because I'll tell you, these big box stores, they don't care about the natural products sitting on those shelves.
no.
Care about this,
All it is that. And it's
that.
sad. They're
Hmm.
devaluing what these products are really about. But I
Hmm.
appreciate that you spoke to that point. because over the years, we've had other Manuka companies that were much lower, like you said, 50, 80, whatever they are. So that's a very important point. And so the others are usually blends where this is pure Manuka. So
That's right.
Interesting smell to it. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you okay? I was going to try it.
I want you to try
I'm going to try it while you guys are talking. Go ahead and keep talking.
So when hopefully you'll come back on again and we'll get more into a deeper dive of the antiviral, antibacterial activity. Excuse me.
Oh my gosh, this is delicious.
It's very good.
So 2 teaspoons a day.
Yep.
And I can put it in my coffee.
You can put it in your coffee.
All right. Well, this one stays with me, Claudia. Sorry, I'm on the 350, Mike.
There you go. Good.
Hey, I'm going to put that on an English muffin. Or does that wreck it?
Ooh, oh, that's so good. Oh, a little butter on the English muffin, and then let that melt in. Oh. You're going to be in heaven.
Yeah, I think I'm cutting this.
I was going to say, short. If Denny disappears, we're always up, upstairs. I'm
having
making
a lunch. I got English muffins up there too.
So one thing I do want to just mention about the properties within this plant, we had a husband and wife. The wife, they were sent in. She had wound care. She needed wound care. Well, the husband started using it in his coffee every morning because he liked the taste of it. Well, lo and behold, he had been diagnosed with H. pylori, and it healed that. And, we don't make claims, but customers come in all day long, thousands and thousands of customers. We hear over the years the benefit of all these beautiful products. And so that was one, because, over the years we've used Golden Seal, mastic gum. That's usually our old protocol. But this is something to throw into the mix. So the antibacterial activity must be pretty high in that.
Yeah. No, it really is. It's where so much of the research has been done around the antibacterial properties, and none of this research is industry backed. It's all independent, academic, and it's all over the world. And it's people looking for alternatives to pharmaceutical based, either because they're in an area where it's too expensive, where the population can't afford it, or it's an area of medicine where pharmaceuticals are proving ineffective, and they're looking for natural alternatives. So love to come back and go deeper on any of these things at any time.
Thank
awesome,
you.
Mike. Well, thank you so much. I'll tell you what, delicious product, and I look forward to putting it on that English muffin later.
And now, hopefully everyone understands what Manuka honey is. And, I just want to say in closing, after working all these years with so many customers, I always say, if all the drugs were making people feel better, then everybody would be happy with the drugs. But we hear all the time, they're taking all this stuff and they don't feel better. So nature has all beautiful answers. So we appreciate you being here today and sharing this information with us. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
You have anything else you want to go over?
No, I want to hurry up and end this so I can go have some Manuka honey on my English muffin and some butter.
All right, Mike. Thank you. Many blessings. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
All right. There you go. That is good stuff. I love it when I get the taste test.
Yeah. No,
so we need to do more of those.
Okay.
All right. Excellent. As always, want to remind everybody, share the podcast. Also, the products that we showed you. Well, I got the 350, the 550, the 830 available at Health Foods by Claudia. So stop in and have a conversation.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
All right, Claudia, just like always, I'm leaving you with the last word.
Well, every week I say, keep the faith. And it's amazing how many people will come back and say, thanks for the reminder. And it's like, okay, I'll just keep reminding everybody, keep the faith. But it is a beautiful thing to see more people looking for products that are of quality, that are positive for their health, and that will really make a beautiful impact. So we're grateful to be doing this with you guys every week. We're grateful for everybody tuning in. More people are finding out about the podcast, and we're getting wonderful wonderful feedback. And Denny and I very much appreciate it. So thanks for being with us. All right. See you next week. Peace.